Casey, your holistic nurse, and I am just coming to you with a short video today. It's only going to be 10 minutes today because that's all I have. But I wanted to talk about confidence, conviction, and creativity. So some people they tweak and change their product so much, and I'm telling you because I'm talking from experience, right? Because you think something is wrong with what you have. You think that maybe your product is not good enough, or maybe there is some skill or certification that you need so that you could show up. And you go and you're getting all these certifications, you're going all these school, all these classes, and you're still not able to monetize. And what I learned in my experience is that the thing that was missing wasn't the skill, but it was actually the confidence. So, just a quick tip as far as how do you get confidence, right? How do you get confidence, especially when you're now starting, when you're new, you don't want to overpromise, you don't want to underdeliver. How do you feel confident about your product? Well, the what I definitely will say is conviction. Being having conviction does not mean that you have to speak about your product or your services as though you are the know-it-all or the expert, or you are giving more details or more information than you actually even know. Conviction comes from your knowing that what you are presenting has value, and you are knowing the intrinsic value of that thing that you're offering. And when you're providing a service, sometimes it's hard to tell because if you have a product, right? If the product works, then you're like, I know this thing works, right? But if it's a service, it's kind of like, if you comb in somebody's hair, you think you might say, I do really good hair, but that's subjective to everybody that comes, right? So, how do you gain conviction over a service based business? And I definitely, one thing I would say, I don't know if you thought about this before, but I would say you get convicted when you of yourself experience what you're offering to other people. When you of yourself have experienced your service, you have experienced, even, some people ask for testimony, right? Or just after you provide a service, you ask, what did I do that you really liked? What did I do that you really could, you would like, you would prefer not to see or not to have more? Just asking for some feedback is good. But I think nothing gives you the confidence and the conviction as when you have personally benefited from it. And sometimes you're like, I've never really benefited from my service because I don't even know how to do that, right? I'll give you an example. When I first started making YouTube videos, I would make the video and I would not watch it. As soon as it was released, I would not go back and watch it. And I think it really, really hindered me because had I gone back and watched it, like other people have to watch it. So if I don't want to watch it, why would other people want to watch it? Now I'm telling you, I say my YouTube channel is my favorite channel. Honestly, I mean, and I have some really good ones. But when I look back at my videos, like sometimes I watch it multiple times because I'm like, oh my gosh, I am talking to myself. And as a business owner, you want to speak, you want to feel like you're providing service to yourself because the people that are attracted to you, they want to experience what you have experienced. You are coming over as the expert, and expert in book knowledge and expert in experience is two different types of experts. So if you're coming over as the person who's an expert because you're like, hey, guess what? I've seen it, I've done it, I've been there, I wrote the book, came back, and now I'm the teacher. Then people are more likely to like say, okay, I want to hear what you have to say, rather than you say, well, I studied this, or I heard this, or I read this. It's not as powerful as your own conviction, right? And when you have conviction that what you have to offer, what you have to, the value you're bringing to the world is worth it. Let me tell you, when other people come and they're dissatisfied with whatever it is you have, let me tell you, you won't care. You're not going to care because you know what you have. You know who you're talking to. You know what value you bring. And you also know that you're not for everyone. So that conviction will come through, right? So believing in your product, having the confidence to actually not put the skill first, but put yourself. Put yourself. You are the business. I always say, you are the business. You put yourself first. You put yourself out there and your experience, your personal experience, right? And then everything else comes out of that. And especially this is important for my business owners who are building a business, because usually when you start off and you are the sole provider, you are doing the service, you're doing the admin, you're doing the marketing, you're doing everything. Usually when you're doing everything, your conviction and your confidence is actually a little bit waning. I talked about this in another video, but when you have a team, right, you can be you could have confidence in your team, not just you by yourself. And if you are a person that you suffer with self-esteem, this is not a crash course to build your self-esteem. That happens over time. But really finding or getting the right people on your team. And like I say, at Preservers of Life, we have a team that will encompass you, and it can become your team if you cannot afford to have your own team just yet. Or you don't have to use our services. You could go on Upwork, you could go on Fiverr, you can hire a VA, you can build your own team, but that will bring a lot of confidence to you. And when you are working a business, right, a lot of the services you're providing right now, as the business starts to scale and grow, you may not be the person doing those services. So when you are speaking about your business as an entity, right, just remember that you have to keep it away from yourself, like just what you could deliver. Because the reality is, somebody on your team, like I do graphics, right? Somebody might not like my graphics, right? Somebody might love, another person might love it, somebody might not like it. But it doesn't make my business a failure because I have a whole team of graphic artists, right? So if they don't like my work, they might like the other guy's work, or they might like another person's work, right? So not taking things so personal. The last thing I would say is on creativity. Now, I talk a lot about having a feminine business and attracting clients to you, and not going and pounding the pavement and say you're going to give me work, or like that persistence, and it's kind of annoying and it comes off really salesy, right? We're not doing that here. So how do you use your creativity to attract clients to you? How do you use your creativity for your success? And something I would definitely say in terms of creativity is you want to be like water, right? So water doesn't bang down the door, but water, trust me, water is going to get through, right? Water finds all the cricks and crevices and everything to get through. So when you are like water with your creativity, instead of going with force, you think, what are some other ways I could show up in front of my audience, right? In front of my target clients, that it might be fun and they're not even feeling like you're selling to them, but you're bringing a lot of awareness to them. And I think a really good way is showing up on a YouTube channel, right? Or showing up on social media and just sharing information, sharing what you know, sharing your experience, your thoughts. You don't even have to be teaching. You could just share your experience and say, this is what I went through. If there's somebody else out there that went through this, this is what I did. Would you like me to help you? It doesn't have to be that deep, that serious. You don't even have to build an entire podcast, right? You could get on a podcast like mine's, or somebody else in your niche, and just talk about what you do, right? So creativity finds different ways to do things. And what I would say is make sure it's fun to you. Make it exciting. Make it something that you look forward doing, because when you have joy and passion and you're looking forward to it, then other people are just naturally drawn to you. Okay, that's it. That's my 10 minutes. Thank you for tuning in to the short, I hope valuable, right? Podcast. And I will see you next on our next episode. Thank you so much for your attention. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great one.